Welcome to Lovely T's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making lasagna and stuffed shell pasta. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Okay, we have a half of a yellow onion in this skillet. We have one green pepper in this skillet. We have one red bell pepper. In the back of it, we have our pot full of water for our pasta. And then we have mushrooms, we have ricotta, and then we have our blended fajita cheese in the backs. So you'll see it twice, and it's because it's for different things. So as I put it together, I'll tell you again the measurements. So we have 1 cup of mushrooms that we're going to add to the skillet right now. And then we're going to add 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of pepper. We have added our mushrooms, and we have added a cup of basil, a cup of cilantro. We are getting ready to put our shells in the water, and then we are going to put our lasagna shells in the oven. So we're going to line the water up in a pan, put a little bit of oil in it, and then we will slide that into the oven. Here go our meat. The meat that we have is hamburger meat. It is 2 pounds and 24 ounces. The sausage is hot Jimmy Dean sausage, which is 1 pound. So as I put it together, I will slowly tell you everything again. I might sound like I'm kind of repeating myself, but I have to tell you exactly, or it just won't turn out right. I have put my lasagna in my glass pan full of water with a tab of oil. Not a whole lot of oil, just a little splash. I have put 12 sheets of pasta in this glass. In the back of it, I have my big pasta, and then I put just a tab of oil. I have the inside for my lasagna. I put the meat in, wash the meat. I mixed it all together really well, and then you're just gonna let it simmer. Now we're gonna make the inside of the stuffed shell pasta. We have our ricotta cheese, we have basil, we have cilantro, we have 2 eggs, we have 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of salt. We have 1 tablespoon of basil and 1 tablespoon of cilantro. We also are going to put in some Parmesan cheese, not just any type of Parmesan cheese. We want the fresh Parmesan cheese. You want to do 1 cup of the Parmesan cheese, and you want to do 1 cup of the blended fajita cheese. So we are getting ready to mix that all up really well. Don't forget your 2 eggs. Don't forget your basil and your cilantro. You mix everything really well. You put 1 cup of onion in there as well and mix it up really well. You're going to put that in the refrigerator until your pasta is done. So you're also going to mix your pasta. You always want to mess around with it, get it going. Don't let it stick together. The pasta that's inside the oven, which is your shells for your lasagna, don't bother that. Just let it go. We're not going to let it go too long because you don't want that pasta to be soggy and nasty. So we also have our meat over here. You keep mixing that together really well, and we're just going to let that cook really well. We don't want to undercook it, we don't want to overcook it. We just want to cook it really nice where the texture of it is really nice and smooth, not crunchy, not raw. We want it to be nice and smooth and a real pretty color. So now our meat is done. We have to drain it. It's really nice, good texture, real pretty colors. In the back of here is the Prego meat sauce. I'm going to put half of that jar. After I drain the meat, I'm going to put half of that jar inside of this meat. Mix it really well together. You have mixed your sauce with your meat, so now you're going to let that simmer for about 10 minutes. You also put a little salt and a little pepper. Just put a little bit in your hand and put it on top of the sauce before you mix it together. Yes, your meat is already seasoned, but that sauce is not. So we want to kind of put that together. That way all those flavors and that lasagna is going to be tasting amazing versus bland. So you've let your meat and the sauce go for about 10 minutes. And now you're going to let it rest. You want to let it rest so that way all the herbs and all the vegetables can kind of come together and the flavors can explore with each other. Over here is your pan of ice, because you're going to shock your big pasta after it gets done. You want to shock it, and then you want to move it around in the pan so that way it does not stick together. Now you have your pasta in your ice, so that way it can shock. You don't want to, here go a better look of it. You don't want to overcook pasta because it gets all flimsy. It doesn't work for you. You want to make sure that you keep it on a low heat for like 30 minutes when you're cooking that. And then you always want to make sure you shock it, move it around in the pan. You want it to be really nice because you're going to put a filling inside of this pasta. So you want the texture of it, the look of it to be beautiful. So now we're getting ready to stuff our pasta shells. I have a glass pan that I have lined up with the Prego meat sauce. I also have a piping bag, which is just a regular Ziploc bag that I've cut the ends out of, so I can just pipe it in there versus using a spoon. The Prego meat sauce, I got a 3 ounce versus a 2 ounce because I am doing two different things. If you're just only doing just the lasagna, just get the 2 ounce jar. You have your stuffed pasta lined up on top of your red sauce, which is your Prego meat sauce. You do want to take it out of the ice water that you put it in to shock it. Drain it really well. You may want to put it on a sheet tray just in case you have some excess water. And then you can also put the plastic bag, which is a Ziploc bag, cut the end of it, put the filling inside of that, pipe it inside of the big shell. It's a lot easier. Now you're going to put a little bit of the Prego sauce on top, not a whole lot, just enough to drizzle it on there. And then you're gonna put mozzarella cheese, and then you're gonna put it in the oven for 30 minutes. So you have put your mozzarella cheese on it. You put a little bit of sauce, not a whole lot, just kind of drizzled it. Then you put your basil and your cilantro on top of it. Now you're gonna put your foil over it and you're gonna put it in the oven for 30 minutes. Your lasagna shells is done. So this is what it should be looking like, but you're gonna put it in your ice bath, move that around. Then you're gonna put it in your pan and start layering your special sauces in there. So your filling. So we will do that now. We have our glass pan, and we have 3 going down, downwards, and then we have 2 going across on each side. And you will put your filling on top of it, and then you will put your cheese, and you'll keep doing your layers exactly. So if you decide to do like a 3-layer one, I only do a 2-layer one. But however big you want it to be, you'll just keep repeating itself. So you'll put your meat down, you'll put your blended fajita cheese down, you'll sprinkle that on there, and then you will come to, when you come to your top, that's when you're going to put your ricotta cheese on that, like spread that on there really nicely, and then you'll put your mozzarella cheese on top of that. So it's going to be delicious. Yum. So you have spreaded your meats all over the pasta. Now you're gonna put your cheese. So you're gonna put that fajita cheese all over that, kind of just sprinkle it all the way. You want to kind of cover up the meat just a little bit, not too heavy, just enough to kind of cover it. And then you're going to put another layer of your pasta, and then you're going to repeat itself. But like I said, only do 2 layers. So you have covered it with the fajita cheese blend. Now you're going to repeat yourself, and you're going to put your lasagna pasta on top of this, and then you're going to put your meat again on that. But what you're going to do after you put the meat, you're going to put the ricotta cheese on there. You're going to mix that ricotta cheese up, and then you're going to mix it up really, really well. And then you're going to put your mozzarella cheese. Now you have put your ricotta cheese on top, on the top layer, and you just kind of blended it in and spreaded it all over. Now you're going to put your mozzarella cheese all over it, and then you're going to put it in the oven for about 20 minutes. Everything is cooked. You just want it to melt and kind of come together. So now you have put your mozzarella cheese on top, and I had some basil left over, so I just sprinkled the basil over it. I'm going to put it in the oven for like 20 minutes. Now we have taken it out the oven, and we're going to let it rest for about 15 minutes before we plate it. So we have everything done. Okay, everything is done now. We have our plate together and our glass of wine. And this is our dish for today. Thank you for joining me at Lovely T's Kitchen. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.